Hello and welcome back to summer. It's been a lovely week we've had. Been a bit of a struggle with trying to keep everything watered, but it's been really welcomed. So this is going to be the June sowing and growing catch up. What I've sown, what I've grown and how everything's surviving in now this heat. So I won't be planting anything up today just because tomorrow it gets cooler and this is going to be the hottest day so far. So I'm just going to hold off until tomorrow for that. So what we're going to do, where we're going to start, I think we're going to start off in the greenhouse before it just gets too hot to actually film in there. Right, it's getting nice and warm in here already. And as you can see, the tomatoes are doing really well. And I'm going to start topping off the actual main stems now. So what I've done in here is I've tidied up the tomatoes and they're basically on, I've got about 4 stems per each plant and 50% of them have the stems right down at the bottom and 50% of them the extra side shoots coming out the side a bit further up just by the first truss. That was one of the feedback I got from last week's video. So I'd already done this side. So this side is a bit more down below. The first side shoots are coming off, and on this side a bit more coming off after or around about the first truss. Right, so I'm really pleased with how they're doing. And I've taken, as I've tidied them up, I've taken off a lot of the side shoots and I've put those into water, because what I'm planning is these will be finished round about the end of August. So I still want tomatoes after then. So if I can get those side shoots to start rooting now, hopefully then I can have extra plants then to go in and replace these. That's the plan, but we'll see how we go with that. So like I say, the tomatoes are doing really well. What I'm going to do is just show you some of the groshovka because they're really nice sizes now. But first, one of the tips that I have been doing is, as I've been cutting them, I've been just crimping them. Let me just show you. So say this leaf here, take that off. I've just been crimping that anywhere that I cut just with these pliers. It was from Steve House's video, which I referred to a couple of weeks back, Digwood Green Fingers, and he said, you know, every time you cut you need to rough it up. So what I've been doing is been using these pliers just to crimp it, and it's really been sealing really well. They've really healed really quickly. Right, so before I actually show you all this, I have now sorted out a sort of capillary action on the seedlings, because I was really struggling with actually keeping these watered, and the first ones are just starting to pop up now. So what I've got is a capillary mat, and then underneath is a full water reservoir that's just drawing it up, and that seems to be keeping everything nicely moist. So we'll see how that goes, just an experiment, but if that works, that's how I'm going to be doing it from now on. So while I'm discussing that, let's just show you all the seeds that I have actually sown this month. So I've done a whole load of beetroot. I think I've done 5 different varieties. I've done a spinach Medina just because I had some space in one of the trays, so I just thought I'd stick some of those in. Winter Lesbian, the onions, loads of lettuces because I've just not had success with the lettuces so far. So there's a Cos one, an oak leaf and the Grenoble red. We've been really enjoying the Grenoble red. It's the leaves, being able to pick off the leaves as it starts to grow, and then it's starting to heart up. So that's a real favourite of ours now. And then obviously more Chinese cabbage, just protect all the plants against the slugs. Again, that's working really well. And as we go round, I'll show you how all the Chinese cabbage has been eaten and literally destroyed in some parts. Yet all my brassicas and everything else hasn't hardly been touched. I think on the Brussels I've got 1 or 2 nibbles, but except for that, nothing's been touched. So I'm really pleased with how that's working. You know, if I feed the slugs, they seem to be quite happy as well. Right, so I've done that one, lettuce. So again, I've done the winter purple sprouting broccoli. So I've done my second sowings. I've planted out the first lot and now this is my second sowing. So that is, according to this date, June is the last time you can sow it. And I know people will say July, so it all depends on the variety that you've got. And then I've got, what next? Yeah, more pak choi as well. Again, I'm using that for feeding the slugs. What else have we got? Calabrese Marathon. Again, the packet is saying well, end of May, so I've done it end of June. We'll see how we go with that. And that's it. I have done out in the beds some more radish, and yeah, I think that's it. Let me just check. Oh, kales. I've done the red Russian kale and the cottage kale, just because one's been knocked over by the wind. So I thought, you know what, I'll sow a whole load again, and they'll be going to replace the end bed when they're all finished. Right, let's give you a little bit of a tour and show you some of the size of these grushovka, because they are getting really huge. Right, so I've still got plenty of tomatoes to go out. These are the Shirley Pixies and these are the Barry Crazy tomato. 2 are going to be given away and 2 are going to go in the garden, but I'm just waiting a little bit on those. Right, so the latar is starting to ripen up. But let me just show you some of the size of these grushovka. They're getting to be nice sizes now, and there's quite a lot on that plant. Right, I've just put you onto widescreen just so I try and capture everything. So we've got the Sun Gold here, the Black Beauty, then we've got the Orange Banana, and then the Harry's. And this is my new setup now for my seedlings, and this was thanks to a comment from Ali from my rusty garden. So we've got the capillary matting, and then, like I say, underneath we've got the water tank. All it is just supported off Tupperware boxes. So that seems to be working, and like I say, we've already got the Chinese cabbage popping up, and they've only been planted for 3 days, which is a good job because I use so many of them. And then at the back is some of the peppers, and then it's the same on this side. We've got the Harry's, San Mazzino, the Jen's Tangerine, and this one is the Cherry Chadwick. Down here, these are more still to go out. And what I've done is on these, because I only had 1 or 2 single cells of the beetroots, I've just potted them on into bigger tubs just so I can pot them out as clumps. And then these are more peppers. These are the Thai Hot and the Orange Habanero. And what I may do next year is, instead of having to nurse these right the way through the whole winter months, I may actually just buy the starts. But on the Thai, we're starting to get quite a few flowers on them. It's a bit harder to see on these, but just here we've got some nice sized grushovka there, and over here is a nice sized one there. And then down here we've got the cucumbers, which I'm going to hold off until I take the onions out. just so I don't knock them. They're fine in here at the moment. The basil lime, and then cuss and come again celery. Right, so let's have a wander outside and have a look at these beds. Starting to really fill up now. Right, so these two beds are really flourishing now, especially these Brussels. They really have taken off in the last couple of weeks. What I'm going to have to do is change over the stakes from this bed to this bed. I was a bit ambitious thinking the kales would grow that fast, because I haven't actually grown kales at this time. This is the first time, so it's another learning experience. So let's go with this bed first. So we've got the Brussels, the kohlrabi, the leeks still ready to plant up, chard either side of those, and then the rocket and the courgette. I mean, this rocket at the moment is just flourishing. I don't know how long it's going to last, but we're having so many pickings. It's like everything now in the salads. We're really enjoying it. So yeah, it's been worthwhile doing that. And then on this bed we've got spring onions, beetroots with 2 cottage kales, red Russians, dazzling blue, and cottage kales at the end, with beetroots and interplanted with some onions and rainbow chard as well. So again, this bed is starting to flourish. It's not doing as well as this bed, and surprisingly the rainbow chard is still doing better in this bed. Yeah, it was planted up a little bit later, but I'm really pleased with how it's going at the moment. And the Chinese cabbage has really stopped the brassicas getting eaten. You know, you look at these Brussels and they're looking really healthy. Right, let's move on. Right, so next up is the Charlotte potatoes. There's about a month between them, so these are probably going to be harvested next week, and then it'll be those probably a month to 5 weeks time, and then they've still got another two months to go. But they're looking really healthy at the moment, so I'm really pleased with how they're doing. I know they're in full sunshine at the moment, but then as the sun goes round they start to becoming a bit more shade. So like I say, I'm really pleased with how they're doing, and hopefully we get a decent harvest from them. Right, so we've got radishes at the start, the Diane and French breakfast, which is some of the French breakfast have had a little nibble from the slugs. I think it's the slugs, or it could be the wood lice. So what I'll do next time is put in a few more Chinese cabbages where they are, because this one here, this one's been devoured, this Chinese cabbage, and it's protected the kohlrabi, so all the slugs have eaten that instead of the kohlrabi, which is looking really healthy. We've got the turnips here. Again, I need to thin those out, and then a bit further here we've got a space. I don't know what I'm going to put here yet. And then we've got the courgette, which has survived, and the rocket, which again is still flourishing. So then we've got the carrots. Now they're doing okay, except for the end tub. That seems to be a bit slow. So I'll just keep monitoring that. There's plenty of germination on there. Then we've got the tumbling tomatoes, which have only been in for a week, and they have struggled in this heat. But they're looking okay. Then we've got oregano and the chives. Now the chives, I have actually been taking all the heads off, just because they self-seed everywhere. But I've also collected the seed by putting the heads in a Tupperware box, letting them continue to dry out, and then just giving it a shake. So hopefully I'll be able to plant more of that seed up and use it in the herb bed when I finally get round to it. Right, so this is the summer purple sprouting broccoli, and it's looking really healthy. There was a Chinese cabbage there, but that's just gone. This one's been devoured, and that's the remnants of that one. So that's really protected, again, these brassicas. I didn't put them in here. That's the green acre, and you can see that's had a nibble at. but that's hearting up. So hopefully that continues to heart up and we get a nice cabbage off these two. This red acre, I'm hoping it's just going to start hearting up now. Right, and then on to these dangling giant monge too. Right, so we come to this, the giant monge too, and we are getting still giant sized monge too. They're just dangling down from everywhere. And it's been quite productive, a bit of a slow starter, but it's been quite productive. Now I know it's yellow, I don't know whether that's from lack of water, heat, or just the plant coming to its end, but we are still getting quite a few flowers on it. So this is the first time I've grown this, so I'm just trying to learn how to grow it. The ones up there, they're going fine as well, but we're really enjoying having this size monge too in there, and it tastes really fresh and crisp. Right, and we come to the first vertical bed, which is over 2 meters. So it gives you an indication of how high these foxgloves actually are behind us. Right, so we've got sweet peas at both ends, and then the overwintering onions, which are starting to look, they're getting ready for harvest now. Quite a few of them, about 50% are starting to fall over. I'm going to wait till a little bit more, so probably another week. And the reason being is last year I harvested them when they were still upright. Now they dried off and in storage, and about 3 months down the line they started to regrow again. So what I'm doing is going to make sure that majority of them are falling flat, and then I'm going to harvest them. Which also gives me content for next week. And then the Caspers, they've survived, and so have the Jack Be Little and the Red Cory. Now the Chinese cabbage haven't been hit as much in here, except for that middle one. So again, they're still doing the job of protecting the more vulnerable crops. And like I say, I will probably put the cucumbers out in a couple of more weeks. I just want them to grow a little bit longer, and by that time I would have cleared this bed and then got the paracord up, because I don't want to put the paracord up and try and then harvest all the onions. So fingers crossed we don't get that much wind. What I may do is I may start to stake up some of these mini pumpkins, just so that they got a little bit more protection against the wind. Right, hidden away here is where we got the purple sprouting broccoli, the winter version. So we've got the Cardinal and Rudolph, and then just in front of it is 3 Calabrese Marathon. Again, I've got Chinese cabbage in all of them except for the one that's died. Again, just to protect it, give them a fighting chance. I don't know whether the butterflies will go directly to the Chinese cabbage and leave the broccoli. We'll just have to see. Right, and onto this vertical bed. We've got the giant monge 2 at each end, the Greek Gigante on this side, and the Khazar on this side. And I finally got the paracord up. I quite like the way it's really thin. You can't really see it at times, especially when you're walking out of the kitchen. All you see is these runners going up. So yeah, that's working out really well, and it looks pretty strong. Well, like I say, it can take 90 kilos. That's the breaking point of it. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that, and I'm just going to be using that throughout the garden now. So the Greek Gigantes are flying away, and hopefully I'll start to see the colour of the flowers soon. I think they're white, but I've seen some people actually get red ones, but I think that's from Save Seed. And it's the same for the Khazar. I'm presuming they're white. And what I forgot to mention was, when I was doing the seeds, is I've got the dwarf Belotti beans. What I'm going to do is clear the middle bit. They're soaking at the moment, and they're going to get planted in there. And it's the same for over there. I'm soaking more of the runner beans to interplant even more plants in there. And then there's potato bed. The mistake. Now they are starting to flower, so that's a good sign. A few have been damaged, and that's from actually the pigeons fighting. So like I say, this has been a mistake bed, but it's been a good experience to do. And then these are, let me bring you in closer. Right, and these are the coriander flowers, and you can just see here, we're just slowly getting the green seeds. Now we've been really enjoying these green seeds. They've got a real zest, lemony flavour to them. So this is what we're going to be doing more of, these coriander plants, because that's really pretty just to go out in the garden. And the fact that you get the leaves, the seed, the green seed, which you can leave to go brown or to dry, and then you got the coriander root. It's a real bonus plant, that is. And then over here we got all these blueberries, which I really do need to put protection around them, because they're just going to get devoured. Right, I've just come into the shade for a little bit. It's just getting a little bit too hot out there, plus the phone needed a little bit cooling down. So these are the house tomatoes. I don't often show them, but as you can see, we're getting plenty of tomatoes on there. Now they usually get to round about an inch, so we've got about another 2 or 3 weeks before they're going to start to get to full size. But they're really bushed out. Normally I only get one stem, but I planted these or sowed them on the 16th of December, and they've had no heat. They've just literally been in a window, and yeah, and as you can see, they don't get that much light either. And then in front, these are all the side shoots which are put into water and hopefully going to root. I've done loads of them just to hedge my bets. Right, let's get back out into the sunshine. Oh, and I also forgot to say, on those coriander green seeds, apparently you can freeze them. We've not tried that yet, but we're going to get plenty of seeds, so we'll see how we go with those. Right, and then onto these 3 beds of broad beans, and they're doing really well. We're getting some nice sized pods. Now, in the last video, I asked about whether anybody tops them early and then gets new side shoots and new stems, whether that's a method. And one of the advice I got back from Brian's garden and polytunnel is that it would delay the harvest, because all the energy is going into the side shoots and the stems and delaying the actual pods forming, which I didn't think was too bad just from my scenario. It would be if you wanted to actually harvest everything and then put something at the back, which is what I originally wanted to, because I wanted to put all beans down the end of these, at the back of these. But then I thought about it and I thought, an extended harvest, that would mean I can actually space out having broad beans on toast instead of having a glut and everything gets frozen. So I quite like that. But what I'm finding, or what I've noticed, and this has put me into a bit of a dilemma of what to do, is I've not noticed many bees, or any bees at the moment, going to any of the flowers. So I don't know whether they're getting pollinated, which means I could be creating an ideal place for the black fly to land, because I've still got the tips on all the new shoots or new stems. Because I've actually taken off most of the side shoots. So I've got an ideal landing place for the black fly to land on. But I may not get any productive pods from these flowers. So we'll see what happens. What I'm going to do is I'm going to monitor these bottom flowers. Oh, well, that's not going to get pollinated, is it? I'm going to monitor these bottom flowers, and if they don't get pollinated and get any pods on them, then I know that I just take the rest of them off. Like I say, it's a bit of a dilemma. And what I'm also doing is, I can't see any here, is any of the old flowers, is I'm taking those off, just gently teasing them off the pods. Because what I'm finding is I'm not getting the black fly land on the tips at the moment. I'm getting them landing on the old flowers, the dead flowers. But fingers crossed, everything's going okay with these. And we'll just see what happens with these new stems. Like I say, next week they could all be taken off because these flowers aren't getting pollinated. Right, onto these next. Right, well the leeks are actually surviving this heat. We're giving them plenty of water, and the empty spaces where those beetroots in the greenhouse will go, I haven't got that succession growing yet. And the beetroot at the end, they're doing okay. They recovered from where the sparrows were eating the leaves. And then on here we have got some of the beans coming up, the French dwarf beans, on these end troughs. And we've got peas ready to harvest now. And the lettuce we're just picking away. So I'm really pleased with how everything's growing at the moment. All the beds are starting to get full, and I've still got more stuff. Hopefully they'll germinate to replace these when they're finished. So yeah, really pleased, and it's really nice to see all the beds full as well. Right, so it really has been a hot day. So I'm off to get a lolly ice now, and like I always say, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again.